The Rothschild family are the wealthiest family in human history. All key positions in the House of Rothschild were to be held by members of the family, and not by hired hands. Only male members of the family were allowed to participate in the business. Amschel forbade his heirs most explicitly, in any circumstances whatever, to have any public inventory made by the courts, or otherwise, of my estate. Also I forbid any legal action and any publication of the value of the inheritance. Anyone who disregards these provisions and takes any kind of action which conflicts with them will immediately be regarded as having disputed the will, and shall suffer the consequences of so doing. Rothschild ordered a perpetual family partnership and provided that the female members of the family, their husbands, and children should receive their interest in the estate subject to the management of the male members. They were to have no part in the management of the business. Anyone who disputed this arrangement would lose their interest in the estate. The last stipulation was specifically designed to seal the mouths of anyone who might feel like breaking with the family. Rothschild obviously felt that there were a lot of things under the family rug that should never see the light of day. All 5 sons of Mayer Amschel Rothschild were noble. All 5 brothers dedicated themselves to their ancestors' world revolutionary dream. That dream was to control the entire world under one world government. Nathan Mayer Rothschild bought up the British economy. The Rothschild family are behind the Suez Canal and the country of Brazil. Lord Rothschild had a carriage driven by zebras. A few years ago Derek de Rothschild built a catamaran out of 12,000 bottles and sailed it 8,000 miles across the Pacific. The Rothschilds and J.P. Morgan saved the U.S. Treasury and bailed out the government by themselves. They fix all of the gold prices. Mining giant Rio Tinto was founded by a venture backed by the Rothschild family. Queen Elizabeth II was a shareholder through a secret bank account. Their mansion in France is better than a king's castle. Nathan Rothschild cheated his way to owning England's finances. Perhaps something that nobody would be able to get away with now, Nathan Rothschild essentially owned all of England's finances after the Battle of Waterloo. Since he had connections, Nathan was able to get word before anybody else that the Battle of Waterloo was not a lost cause. Everyone else, on the other hand, considered it to be a loss that would devastate the country. From there it's believed that Nathan went directly to the London Stock Exchange, and sold all of his bonds in the British government. When seen doing so, everyone else in the building did the same thing, causing the price to drop to almost nothing. When the prices were at a new low, Nathan bought back all of his bonds, as well as everyone else that sold theirs in a way of getting even more power. They had very strange parties. One thing that doesn't help the Illuminati rumors in the slightest, are the odd parties that the Rothschild family has held. The most notable, and telling, one that there are photographs from was back in 1972. Just to get it started, the invitations were sent in reverse so that you needed a mirror to see what was written on the invitation, and when you arrived at the building the lights out front were completely red. A lot of these parties involved some very odd choices in style that included wearing animal-style heads, and masks with multiple faces. The photos of the party seemed like it was something straight out of a Lady Gaga video, if that gives you any clue on how weird it really was. They also had a strange fascination with bird cages, but that's perhaps because Salvador Dali was a family friend. Since the Rothschild family controlled reportedly half of the money in the world, they were the ones that were able to fund most of the major wars that have happened over the past 200 or so years. The Rothschild family has funded everything from the Napoleonic Wars to the World Wars of the 20th century. By loaning money to governments instead of individuals, it has been able to make them the most powerful family in the history of the world. They have bankrolled many major wars. Since the Rothschild family controlled reportedly half of the money in the world, they were the ones that were able to fund most of the major wars that have happened over the past 200 or so years. The Rothschild family has funded everything from the Napoleonic Wars to the World Wars of the 20th century. By loaning money to governments instead of individuals, it has been able to make them the most powerful family in the history of the world. At the end of each war, the Rothschild family started to see dollar signs when the loans started coming back, and more money was needed by other countries for their rebuilding efforts. When the banks were all decimated because of the war, there was only one place to turn, and that was the Rothschild. Perhaps this is why they considered themselves to be above the law in most countries. One interesting clue that might suggest that the Rothschild family really is invested into secret societies, is stemming from World War I. Since the Rothschild family was present for the treaty that was signed at the end, people reported that a part of the treaty included them taking over the Bavarian Illuminati that was founded in 1776. Since the society is secret, you may never find out the details. Many are believed to be Satanist. Here is another secret that will be debated until the end of time. Many of the witnesses that entered their home claim that the Rothschild family were filled with Satan worshippers. According to these same witnesses, the Rothschild family would set a spot at the table for the Dark Lord himself, and that nobody was allowed to sit in it. This one has been hard to confirm, but the reports have been numerous. To add a little more intrigue to the situation, some of the family members would sign their name on documents with the Seal of Solomon. Although the seal is mainly regarded as a symbol of the Jewish people, it was not the official symbol at the time. Instead, it was seen as a largely unused symbol that was used only by magicians and Satanists in previous years. That is another debate that will still rage on.